Imagine a children's book that's equal parts delightfully disgusting and sneakily subversive, only to see it transformed into an animated film that starts off as just another slick Netflix offering. But wait, buckle up, because it takes a wild, unexpected turn into the heart of modern politics. That's the roller coaster ride of the Twits, Netflix's latest adaptation of Roald Dahl's quirky tale, which begins with all the gross-out fun you might expect but evolves into something surprisingly pointed and provocative for young audiences and beyond. For those new to Roald Dahl's world, he's the legendary author behind timeless stories like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Matilda, known for blending whimsy with a touch of the eerie. Some kids, including myself growing up, gravitated toward the cozy chills of the witches or the bizarre adventures in James and the Giant Peach. But others were all about the Twits, a 1980 novel packed with stomach-turning antics. Think eyeballs lurking in beer mugs or worms masquerading as pasta on your plate. The whole book sprang from Dahl's personal fascination with repulsion, partly fueled by his dislike of beards, which, as we've learned from historical reflections, was just one of his less harmful quirks, alongside deeper prejudices like anti-Semitism. As a child, I got the icky thrill of it, but I always felt the Twits, a story about a vile, messy couple and a troupe of clever monkeys fighting for freedom, crossed into territory that was a bit too gritty to rank alongside Dahl's more iconic works. The Twits has had stage adaptations before, but a movie version? That's been a journey full of twists and turns. A live-action attempt fizzled out just a few years back, but now it's morphed into this animated film helmed by Phil Johnston, who's famous for penning feel-good hits like Wreck-It Ralph and Zootopia, alongside co-directors Todd Kunjan Demong and Katie Shanahan. Maybe Johnston saw the Twits as a chance to unleash his edgy side, diving into the messy and mildly risky after crafting such polished family fare. Starring voices like Margot Martindale and Johnny Vegas as the revolting Twits, Natalie Portman and Alan Tudyk as the magical monkeys, and newcomers Maitreyi Ramakrishnan and Ryan Lopez as orphan sidekicks Beesha and Bubsy, the film clocks in at about 1 hour and 38 minutes. It drops on Netflix this Friday, October 17th. Written by Johnston and Meg Favreau, it updates the story to the present day while keeping Dahl's core grossness intact. Right from the opening, the movie leans into the nastiness with gusto. The Twits are portrayed as a slimy duo, pranking each other, imprisoning adorable brainy monkeys, and terrorizing neighborhood kids. Their big plan? Launching a theme park with a bouncy castle crafted from dirty mattresses and other glaring safety no-nos. It's edgier and less playful than the book, but still aims to charm a fresh crop of young fans who love getting into the slime. For adults, though, it might not hold much beyond standout voice work. Johnston even lends his own, and the odd, offbeat joke that catches you off guard. The tunes, penned by none other than David Byrne, feel forgettable, and the animation? It's not up to the shiny standards of Disney or DreamWorks. Intentionally grimy, sure, but often looking like one of those budget digital flicks that lose their luster fast. As a quick note for newcomers, computer-animated movies tend to age visually quicker than traditional ones because of how tech evolves. The story gets padded with extra characters, like the cookie-cutter orphan kids, Beesha and Bubsy, giving it that typical kid flick vibe. Netflix seems to worry Dahl's original plot wasn't relatable enough for today's viewers, a trend in recent adaptations where his sharp, peculiar edges get smoothed out by modern sensitivities and trends. But here's where it gets controversial. And this is the part most people miss, even if they're familiar with Dahl's adaptations. As the plot chugs along, Beesha and Bubsy clash with the antagonists, and you'd assume the townsfolk of the dreary city Traperot would despise the Twits' wickedness. Instead, they flock to the villains, swayed by a phony promise of reviving the city's glory days. The Twits hawk their grubby business schemes as a path to reclaiming lost paradise, leaving the kids shocked and determined to snap their community out of the trance. Sound eerily familiar in 2025 America? This might be the inaugural animated kids film to directly nod at Trumpism, that wave of collective delusion sweeping folks, young and old, over the past decade. where dubious figures rise on false, Make America Great Again style narratives. For beginners unpacking this, Trumpism refers to the populist movement supporting Donald Trump's policies, often characterized by promises of restoring a nostalgic, idealized past amid economic and social changes. The film cleverly mirrors the frustration of seeing flawed leaders peddle illusions of a return to a better era, all while targeting kids with themes of unity, empathy, and standing against division. It's bold to weave this into a children's story, addressing the bewilderment of watching bad people gain power through deceit, and it elevates the movie beyond its initial flaws. Suddenly those rough edges don't sting as much. Alan Tudyk shines as the quirky amphibian Sweet-Toed Toad. The monkeys are irresistibly cute, voiced vibrantly by Portman and Timothy Simons. And even the bizarre stress-induced hairballs that pop out of one monkey have a merch-ready charm that's oddly winning. It's astonishing how a flick that seemed like a forgettable flop can pivot to something memorable, forgiving its shortcomings. Of course, supporters of the film's Twits equivalents in reality might argue this shift in view is pure liberal bias. Call it TDS, or Twits derangement syndrome, akin to how some view political critiques. And to that, I say, go ahead and argue your point, but don't let it distract from the film's timely message. What do you think? Does the Twits brilliantly capture modern political madness? Or is it stretching Dahl's story too far into allegory? Is the Trumpism reference a clever twist, or just another way to inject current events into kids' entertainment? Do you see it as a wake-up call for empathy, or potentially divisive? Share your opinions in the comments. I'm curious to hear if you're Team Twits or Team Monkeys.